3-point perspective works in the same sort of a way as 2-point perspective, except now we have an additional vanishing point. So we're going to put one vanishing point on the left, one on the right, so VPL, VPR, and then we're working again with this lead vertical edge. We may not be able to see this edge, but it exists and everything is kind of in relation to that. So we can put the third vanishing point either above the horizon or below it or anywhere along this vertical line. So I'm going to put mine up at the top. So the rule in 3-point is that each edge is converging to a vanishing point, either on the left, the right, or the top or the bottom, wherever that's situated. And in the same way that we kind of modeled this 3D space with 2-point, I'm just going to use my pencil and make some light guidelines. From the vanishing point, I'm just going to go to the edge. These just help me see a bit of a grid work of 3D space. I find it very helpful. And then from the vanishing point above, I will draw guidelines radiating downward. I can already see this 3-dimensional space modeled in front of me just through this grid work of lines. To me, already, I feel like I'm walking down a street in Toronto and I'm looking up at buildings, so I'll maybe draw in something that looks like a building. I'll just pick up some of these guidelines, and I might have to create more. And then I can draw in other shapes in relation to this. I'll maybe put one in front, and I'm going to use a different vertical edge. So this one, the corner of this object or this building will be a little offset from this one. So 3-point can be a little bit confusing, especially when the vanishing points are close together and we get more distortion. So before you lay your line down, just think about, it has to go to one of the vanishing points. And then I'm going to cut into this shape. It'll be like an abstract shape here, but just for the exercise so you can see what happens. So let's say this shape looks like this. I've erased some lines so that you can see. Because I'm looking down at the object, here's my horizon line. I'm looking down, I'll be able to see this surface. So I'll put my pencil here on the corner and connect that over to the opposite vanishing point. So just like in 1-point and 2-point perspective, we can find the center of any of these surfaces by using the X I've already done this one. I'll go over here and walk you through this. So here's my X. So there's the center point of this surface. I mean, look how distorted that is. You just can't eyeball something like that. And I'll draw a line from this point of intersection to my vanishing point at the top to get my vertical line. So there's my two halves. And then I'm going to divide each of these halves with an X. So there's my center of that one. There's my vertical. This one, the center of the X is here. So I've now divided this structure mathematically, and this gives me sort of a framework that I can use to build onto this or cut into it. So I just used this framework that I created to cut into this shape and even meld it with this shape above. So I'm just playing. It's very abstract. Doesn't look like anything, but it's really fun to play with. So create a 3-point perspective drawing. Put your third point above or below and just kind of play. And don't concern yourself with trying to make it look like something. Just draw shapes and maybe cut into them or add on to them. Maybe try one that's sitting on the horizon, one that's sitting below the horizon, one that's above the horizon. Try putting one in front. And every time you add a new object, you could try offsetting this vertical edge. Maybe you join the shapes every once in a while. Just see what you can come up with.